Welcome to the Beyond Divorce Embracing Change podcast. My name is Michael Flores, and I will be your host while we explore the complex journey of divorce with empathy, insight, and practical knowledge. Whether you're contemplating separation, in a divorce, or looking for support post-divorce, our episodes provide expert guidance, stories, and strategies to help you through every step of the process. We are actual therapists, helping clients who sit on our couches every day through their difficulties of divorce. You are not alone. Join us as we delve in and find solutions that give you hope again. We're glad you're here.
This podcast is not intended to replace legal or personal help. This podcast is for informational purposes only.
Jumping into today, we're talking about a big word that seems to come up more frequently. I think now is codependent behavior,
Yes.
but codependency specifically in divorce.
Yeah.
Well, can I just ask first, what made you think of this topic?
Well, I have some couples that I've worked with in the past who, codependency is often used with drugs and alcohol use.
Yes.
It's about that relationship you have because of the drug or the alcohol. But what we don't realize is it actually happens in a lot of our relationships, parents and kids, spouses, where you become so dependent on the other person to tell you how you feel.
Right.
And that's really what it is. It's you're putting all of your focus on another person instead of yourself.
Okay.
And so you become, if that person's upset, you're upset, and vice versa. And so you get into this weird power struggle of who's really good and who's not.
Yeah, you get into a weird dance, don't you?
Yeah.
When you have a codependent relationship, and it's almost like even if the relationship isn't healthy and it's not good, I don't know how to detach from it.
Yeah.
Because is it that it becomes part of the identity in some ways?
Yeah. A lot of times it does, because when you're married, you are a husband or a wife.
Mm-hmm.
You're a mom, you're a dad.
Right.
You have these labels that go along with that. Well, that's typically, a lot of people allow that to become their identity. And so when that is your only identity and you're in the midst of a divorce, your identity is going to change.
Right.
And it's scary.
So then you might behave in ways to hold on to certain things that are
Yeah.
still part of what you consider to be part of your identity.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So,
Well, and I've seen couples who stay married because they think they have to.
right.
And so, but I mean, and I want to say this with a preface. If you want to fix things in your marriage, you can. You've got to want to. But there are people who don't put the work in to do that, and they stay in the relationship because it's comfortable.
Yeah, there's people that stay in relationships out of comfort. There's some people that stay in relationships out of commitment.
Yeah.
And so which C are you falling under? Are you falling under the comfort C or the commitment C? And I think they all have their ebbs and flows and ups and downs. I think that's the thing I love doing when I'm working with couples, because I've worked with couples that are marital, premarital. Premarital's fun.
Oh, yeah.
I like premarital.
I've had some of those too.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that. Couples in starting a divorce, like they're just like in the beginning phases. And I've had couples that, we've been divorced for 7 years and, they've had some turmoil. So I've seen the whole gamut of working with couples throughout their entire process of their relationship. And I'll tell you that it's really neat to understand, is it a commitment? Is it comfort? Which C are they going after? Having them define what love is, having them define what the role of a husband is or the role of a wife, and letting them kind of understand that on a deeper level, because then they know what they're bringing to that relationship. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Client comes and sits down with you, and let's say they read about codependency in Google or some AI, ChatGPT or whatever. When they ask you as a counselor, am I being codependent, or what is codependency? What do you say?
It is when you are putting your needs, you're putting everyone else's needs before you. You're sacrificing yourself in order to make everyone else happy or make the other person happy.
You're describing that as is that codependent behavior? Or
That's
is that
codependent
behavior? Okay.
Yes. And it's looking at where you feel responsible for your partner's emotions, thoughts, actions. You feel like it's your fault that this happened or this didn't happen.
Okay.
And you're putting, basically, you're so dependent on, you have to fix everything that's going on around you that you can't work independently anymore.
Yeah, a codependent.
Codependent.
Yeah, not
And
independent.
so basically, and that's where it gets really sticky, because you know, when your identity is tied to someone else, whether it is your child, your spouse, your pet, anything, you can be tied to anything. If your whole focus is tied into that person or that other being, you can't focus on anything else.
Yeah.
And so if you're in that kind of relationship where you have this codependency going on, whether it's one or both of you, you allow things to happen that typically most people wouldn't.
You know, it's funny. I never thought about how this connects. But this morning I was talking to my oldest kiddo, my daughter, and we had a conversation about, I mean, she's been overwhelmed by things lately, and you can tell she's got a lot going on. You know, she's preteen.
Oh, yeah.
And and I remember talking to her, and I said, you know, there's only one thing you'll always need. There's only one thing you're always going to need.
What?
Everything else, you don't need it. You may want it. It can change. It can adapt. But there's only one thing you actually need. And same thing. She was real curious, and I just said, it's God. I mean, you need God. Absent that, you can survive some time without food. You can survive a little bit without water, not forever. But basically, like the thing you need is a relationship with God. That's all you need. Everything else is going to be okay. And it always is okay. And what's the old saying? I didn't say this. Okay, so it's not coming from me. I don't remember who said it. You know what? I do remember who said it. It was I did an interview with Miss McNinney, and she does life coaching, and she made a comment once. She said, "Look, if it's not okay, then it's not done.
Yeah,
everything's going to be okay, and if it's not okay, it's not done."
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah, it's still a working process, right?
Yeah.
So it's in these codependent relationships. When you realize, like, I'm in a position where I think I need X, that is a time to do a self-reflection and wonder, how did I get here? You know, that I need X. Now, this doesn't mean that you won't want to fight for your marriage or fight your relationship, and that you're doing it as a need. You might be doing that as a commitment or a want, or I want to fulfill my promise that I made in my vows, whatever that may be. But it's that need, right? I think codependent people, they believe, if I don't have it, I'll die. Yeah. Right? Like the drug or the drink.
Fear. There's a fear of being
driven by that, right?
They're driven by fear.
Yeah.
They're also driven by control. They want to be in control of everything, which, I mean, a lot of people do. They want to be in control of everything around them. That's what we do when we're stressed and anxious and got to control it all. Well, in a codependent relationship, it's a little different, because the control is, if I don't do this, they're going to fail. So it's still tied to the other person. Okay. If I don't do something, they're going to fail. It's kind of, I think of it when I think of kids and their parents.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I have so many parents who just want to not see their child ever upset. They want to fix it before they get upset. I'm like, no, let them be upset.
Yeah, they want. we had so you remember helicopter parents, right?
Oh, yeah. They still.
So there was this term someone came out with. I don't know if it's a true thing or not, but I thought it made me think about it. They call it lawnmower parenting.
Okay, I haven't heard that one yet.
Yeah, I know, right? It's kind of interesting. Lawnmower parenting is removing all the obstacles. So think if you have like high grass. Yeah. So think of the high grass as obstacles. Yeah. When you take a lawnmower and you go through all the grass, you clear a clean path. Yeah. What parents are doing, they say now, is they're lawnmower parenting, and they think that's what's created a society of kids that are what do we call that? Entitled. Yeah. So what happens is when a lawnmower parent comes in, they remove all the obstacles.
They clear the path.
They clear the path. Okay. So the kid doesn't have to struggle working through any of them. They lawnmower parent.
Got it.
Makes sense? So I thought that was an interesting term.
That is a very interesting.
But then you wonder, does that mean that the parent has a codependent relationship? Is there a correlate here?
Maybe. Actually.
But because it could be driven by fear or control, right?
They're going to fail, or control, I want them to do this.
Yep. So I'm going to
push them in this direction.
Yeah. Move all these obstacles. And send
this is the easy way to go.
Well, then you think about that in divorce. Like, so kid goes and spends time with, dad for the weekend, but dad doesn't really know how to do all the stuff that mom does.
No.
So mom sends them with all the snacks and to make sure that they're eating the things they're supposed to eat, and they like this toothpaste better than this one, so make sure they're brushing with this. And so the dad feels like, you're infiltrating my environment, right? And the parent's like, no, I just want to make sure the kid's okay, Or that line.
Well, and that kind of goes into how this manifests in divorce, how codependency comes into it.
Right.
Talk
about
it's that emotional. Well, it's weird because it's like an emotional detachment.
What does that mean, Jen?
You have difficulty letting go. You can't
emotionally, though.
Emotionally.
Okay.
So this is hard to explain. I just realized this.
Yeah, it's a good one, but I just explain it.
Basically, you struggle to separate your emotions from your thoughts with the other person because you're so entangled with each other that
in the codependent relationship, there's an entangling.
Yes.
And as a result of the entangling,
detaching that emotion from it. Yeah, exactly. It makes it difficult to do because your emotions are tied to this person.
Got it.
A lot of it involves enabling behaviors, which when we enabling sounds like it's a weird word. But it's allowing poor behavior and making excuses for it. So
excusing the poor behavior. Yeah. So it's no accountability for it.
Apparently.
Yeah, no, it's an excuse of poor behavior.
Yeah.
As if it's an allowance to do so.
Yes. So, whether it's not taking out the trash or it's yelling at your kids or it's
they had a busy day.
He had a busy day.
They're
they're tired. They're tired. Dad's tired. He's in a grumpy mood.
They take the trash out tired.
Yeah. Well, it works with kids too, though. Allowing a kid to throw a temper tantrum in a grocery store, like, okay, here, baby, you can have whatever you want.
That is probably the best version of a description of enabling.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed by my kid's behavior in this grocery store. I don't want them to act this way. I'm going to go ahead and pacify it by giving the item that they're asking for because they got to that level of fit.
Yeah.
And then the parent wonders, why are they not in control?
Exactly.
Well, I reinforced it. I'd show them that if you get to a certain place with me, that is a codependent relationship, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's kind of where, this is why I think of it. I don't usually use the term codependency a lot with my clients unless they bring it up.
I haven't either.
But I thought about it and I was like, this really makes sense in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
Especially when you get to divorce, because you do often, I've seen families where you have one parent who is overly protective.
Right.
And want to do this and, like you said, bring snacks and send this with dad and and do all the things that the other parent may or may not be doing.
Yep.
Well, the problem with that is then you don't allow your child to have the relationship they want to have. Allowing your kids, and we'll get to this in a second on how to break this stuff up, but, allowing the other person to have control of their own situation. So
how do they do that though, Jen? Like, how does someone... We're talking about codependency, what it looks like, how it may play out in experience. How does someone get to a place of going, hey, I'm going to change this dynamic? And I might be jumping way ahead here, but I really want to make sure the listeners get, if you find yourself in that situation and you're engaged in this behavior, these are some things to consider, think about, and then this is a way you can kind of maneuver your way through that.
Well, first you have to recognize what's going on.
Yeah, so step one is recognition.
Recognition.
Okay.
Allowing yourself to understand where you are in this process. Everything starts with ourselves. Everything ends with ourselves. And we don't often think that. In codependent relationships, it's really hard to see what do I need versus what do they need. Or what am I looking for here versus what everyone else wants. How do I appease everyone? So part of it is creating some boundaries for yourself.
Right.
And I love this. Boundaries are not for other people. You cannot tell someone else what to do. You can tell yourself what you can do in a certain situation.
Yeah.
So I can't stress this enough. Boundaries are for you, not for someone else.
What does that mean? I know what you mean.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the listeners when they go, what do you mean boundaries are for me, not for what are you talking about?
Boundaries are for you to respect what you need or want out of a situation and be able to respond the way you feel is appropriate versus what the other person wants to do or not do.
Yeah. So I use this example. I'll give an example of how I used it. If you tell someone, I have a boundary, don't yell at me, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're yelling at me, that's breaking one of my boundaries. That's not a boundary they're breaking. That is a request that you've made for them not to yell. This is the boundary. If you would like to continue the conversation in that form where you're yelling at me, I'm going to see myself out of this.
Yeah. So
now the boundary for self is I don't engage in conversations where I'm being yelled at, right?
Exactly.
I will disengage because the boundary is meant for you to control self.
Yes.
Right? It's not for them.
Yourself.
My boundary is I don't do conversations with people out of control.
Yeah.
I see myself out of those. That's a boundary. But when you go to someone and say, hey, you're not respecting my boundary because you're yelling at me, that's actually a request, not a boundary.
Exactly. Which happens a lot. I have a lot of kids that they have requests of parents and they think it's about, well, they're not honoring. No, you're not honoring theirs.
Well, you're not giving a boundary. You're giving a request.
Yeah.
And they're just denying your request.
Exactly.
The boundary's meant to set for yourself.
Yes.
You know? Gosh, I'm going to tell something embarrassing.
Go for
it. I want to go for it, I guess. When I was dating my wife, we were boyfriend and girlfriend. And out of my own fears of our relationship, and I really liked her a lot. I was almost afraid that I was fearful that I liked her as much as I did. This was scary. It was scary territory for me because I got the sense of the vulnerability I was feeling, and I knew if I feel that's vulnerable, I can get really hurt.
Yeah.
And so as a way of protecting getting hurt, make sense?
Yes.
I would put up these boundaries that I thought were boundaries, which were really requests.
Yeah.
And if she didn't do them or fulfill them, I'd be like, then we're done.
Yeah.
And so I did that in our relationship. I had broke up. I think the longest breakup I had with her was 2 weeks, whatever.
Children.
But I remember she said something to me, and this is where it changed. She said, I do care a lot about you, and I do love you, and I want to be with you. She's never not known that. But she said, but this will be the last time you ever break up with me.
Oh.
Now, that's a boundary.
That is a boundary.
What she's saying to me is, I'm not going to allow myself to continue in the relationship going any more forward.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going through the pain of the breakup again, right? I'm not doing
Exactly.
So that's a boundary.
Yeah.
That was a promise she made to herself. So she's just letting me know I've made this for myself, and I want you to know what that is.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't matter if I respected it, didn't. It does not interfere with my choice.
She knows what her choice is going to be.
Bingo. She knows how she's going to respond accordingly.
Exactly.
That's a boundary. Man, I hope that was clear.
I think it was. And I think if you struggle with making boundaries, one of the other things in this thought process is focusing on yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe that means seeing a therapist. We're here.
We've been here.
When you focus on yourself, you're looking at what your needs, your goals are, and what your self-worth is. Is it worth your time to have the argument that you keep having? Is it worth your time to put all of your energy into another person who's not responding?
Maybe I'll throw something out there.
Yeah.
Maybe when you're in a codependent relationship, you're probably asking them to do something. Like, I need you to do this, or if you would just stop doing X. Maybe the thing you should think about or consider is just asking them, what are they completely against doing?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, look, rather than tell you what I want you to do, why don't you just tell me what you're not going to do? So that way I don't keep expecting it.
That is true.
Because then they're telling you their boundary now.
Yeah.
So if you go, I don't like the way our relationship is. I don't like the way this is going, if they're using substances, if they're, whatever it may be, you're putting this, I want our relationship to be better than what it is. And there's this external thing that's interfering with this relationship.
Yeah.
Before I ask you to do anything, what are you completely against doing? Right? So that it doesn't become part of my request because I know you won't fulfill it.
Yeah.
And it just hurts you even more, right?
Absolutely.
And if they go, I'm never going to do X, now you know.
Yep.
And it makes it easier for you to navigate what you should do. Make sense?
Yeah.
But we're not asking that. We're asking them to do X and do this. And why can't you just do this? And why don't you go here and do? We're trying to solve it.
Yeah.
Instead of just.
You're making me think because.
I'm sorry.
I keep picking topics to talk about that are really closely related to my own personal life.
And
I'm like,
I understand.
It's okay. But
because we're all human.
We are.
Yeah.
And, it's exactly that. I asked my ex-husband to Tell me, what does he want to change? That was my question to him.
And he may not want to change it.
And he said nothing. I was like, okay, cool. I don't want to live like this. We're good. It allowed me to have a moment to be true to myself in that I don't want to live the life I was living.
Yeah.
And that's what, when you're in a codependent, and I'm not gonna lie, it was codependent a little bit. We already know this. But at the same time, when you stop and think about what your goals are for yourself, what your goals are for a family.
Yep.
If you're in the midst of a divorce and you're in this kind of codependent relationship, taking a step back and saying, okay, how do I adjust myself in order to make everyone else see the true me? Because one of the things with codependency is we get so tied up into the other person, we lose our own self. So creating some ways of having independence within yourself, being able to balance a checkbook, go to, pay the bills.
Right.
If that wasn't your role in your marriage, but it is now, you got to figure out how to do all this stuff,
Well, you go back to Nike's slogan and you just do it.
Just do it, yeah.
I mean, that's life. I mean, my grandfather is uneducated as he was, Jen. He said something to me once, and because I would tell him about things I wanted to do and aspirations I had, and I talked to him about the fears I had with it, right? And my grandpa would ask me a question. He said, well, how do you think you're going to learn? And I said, well, I don't know. He goes, you learn by doing.
Yeah.
And so what he really said, I mean, think about when we started the podcast. Did any of us really know how to do podcasting?
No.
So how did we figure it out? And we did. We literally said that.
And let's do
so we said, hey, does anybody do podcasting? Oh yeah, there's tons of podcasts. So we heard other people's podcasts. That was a good idea. We like that. And we just kind of built what we liked. And then we thought, how do we want to help others?
Exactly.
Right. And then once we got clear on all that, we just went for it.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, what we probably should do, it's kind of off topic. Sorry, listeners. We probably should go back and listen to our first episodes.
Oh, gosh.
A couple of them. And then go listen to these and just go,
maybe.
Man, what has transitioned? Because in truth, we're doing it,
Yeah.
And
that's true. We should.
And you know what, listeners, I'll just say this to you guys. I am so thankful that you come to this and that you listen with us and the feedback that we've been given. Man, do it more. Give us more feedback. We need that because we want to keep going for you, especially if it's making a difference. So I just wanted to say, going back to your original point, you're right. When you do transition and the divorce happens, you're going to have to buckle down and just do it.
Yeah. And sometimes that could be get a new hobby, find a new interest, make some new friends.
Yep.
I just thought of this because, I love my group of friends from college, but we're in different places now of our lives. I still see them pretty often, pretty regularly, love them. But I also need some other friends too, because they're busy with their lives, I'm busy with mine, and they don't exactly match up as much as they used to.
Transition.
And it's all that transition in relationships. But with a divorce, this person that you've been with for however long is not there now. So you've got to fill some time, especially if you have split custody with your kids, because you're going to have some time by yourself. If your focus is solely on what your kids are doing, even when they're not with you, that's codependency. And what creates resentment. It creates issues between the family sometimes when you stick to that role when the other person is like, no, I don't want that.
Right.
So you have to go back to yourself and say, okay, what can I do differently? I had a parent that I worked with, her and her kids. And that's exactly what that was what we talked about, was finding stuff to do for her when she didn't have the children.
Yeah.
And she did. And she stopped calling the kids every day. And then after 3 days or so, I was like, hey, Mom, what's going on?
Yeah.
And she's like, he came back. I'm like, I know. They come back. They're still there. They still love you.
Yeah. Just because they fly the nest doesn't mean they won't return. But but I get it. I mean, you see it as an end instead of a beginning.
Yeah. Well, and with this topic with codependency, it is a hard thing to wrap your brain around sometimes. It's a hard thing to break. And it's because it's really more internal than you realize. And I think I want to end there with what you just said, because that piece, what you just said, I think goes back to it loops right back around to kind of the points I want to hit with the listeners that you've taught today. First, step one
if you believe you're in a codependent relationship, it is starting with a self-audit, which is the recognition, right? You got to start with what you recognize. And you're looking for behavioral patterns in your relationship, right? That yearning to, I need to fix this. I needed this. Like that might be something that can be leading or driving that codependency. The next thing you want to look at is the boundaries that you have for yourself that you've set, but really learning their boundaries too. What are the boundaries they have? Like, what are the things they're not going to do?
Yeah.
You might actually get a better answer than what they're willing to do. The problem is when you ask someone what they're willing to do, you get a lot of counterfeits. You're going, I'll do anything. Don't leave.
Very generalized statements.
Codependent relationships, I've seen people go, if I go do this, will you stay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like if I do this, then you'll do this. And so a lot of times people get trapped in that, especially if you care about them. You're like, oh, I don't want to hurt them. I think the response to that is, how about you do what you think is most important to you so you can be the best version of you for me?
Yeah.
And rather than me asking of you, and whatever decision you make will let me know where this relationship really stands. Because if you say yes, they're not going for them.
Yeah, they're doing it for themselves.
They need to do it for themselves so they can be that with you. So to me, it's almost like I don't want to have to ask you to do that, but it would mean a lot to me.
Yeah.
But for me to promise to stick around as a result of you becoming the best version of you, I only wanted the best version of you to begin with.
Absolutely.
So learning their boundaries, right, is almost stronger than just what's your request.
Exactly.
So going, what are you completely against doing for this relationship to work?
Yeah.
Might be a better way to approach that. I don't know, just a thought. And then I think the third thing you said was important is setting your goals for yourself, being clear on where you want to go and where you're headed in your own life. And so there you go, listeners. I broke it down into 3 places for you. Step 1, recognize, understand the behavioral patterns that you see, do a self-audit. Number 2, learn your boundaries, understand what your boundaries are. Remember, when you tell someone your boundaries, you're actually making a request. Your boundaries are yours, they're for you. And learn what your partner's completely against doing, which is better than just what are they willing to do. And number 3, set your goals for yourself.
Yeah.
Set the goals for yourself of where you're headed, what you want life to look like, and be very clear and specific, because that's going to give you a lot of drive on where life probably should go for you. And then get down to just do it, right?
Just do it.
I left that part out. Sorry. You're going to find struggles as you make changes.
Yeah.
And the way you get them done is you just do it.
Yeah.
So
I think people need to really, the crux of, it's funny. I think the crux of all of this is you gotta look at yourself. You always gotta look at yourself.
What is therapy? Is therapy about you're wrong, or is it about, hey, let's take a self-audit here?
Self-audit.
Yeah.
It's all about that. I mean, and the analogy I use the most is, what do they tell you on a plane when they're doing the safety stuff?
You've said this before. I like it. Yeah, put your own mask on first.
Yeah, you can't fix anything else. You can't work on anything else. You can't control anything else if you yourself are not good. So getting yourself to be the best version of yourself is the best thing you can do for your family.
So maybe that part of setting the goals is, what does the best version of me look like and what I'm doing, and then building it from there. Sounds good, Jen. That was awesome. Thanks for coming today. Yeah. And listeners, thank you for being here today. I love to give you all little recaps. It kind of helps bring it all together for you through the whole dialogue in case we lost you somewhere along the way, or you're traveling and spilt your coffee in the car or something, and you're like, oh no, I missed the last 5 minutes of whatever you are talking about. I know that can happen, but I would ask you, if you could just take a couple of seconds to leave us a review. Your reviews help other people find us, learn about us, know that the information's out there. We're only as good as the people that actually listen in and get the information that we're wanting to offer all of you. So if you'll take a moment to do that, and hey, if this is helpful to you, shoot us a compliment. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Those kindergarten teachers must know something. When they were like, pat yourself on the back, or doing a little recognition at the front of the classroom. That stuff goes really a long way. And us adults, I don't think we never grew out of that. So those of you that have taken the time to compliment us, whether in person or on our reviews or on the podcast, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you and adore you for doing that. And we want more. I don't think I'll ever say that. We had enough. Please, we love to hear from you. If we can do something better, or there's certain topics you're interested in, we want to hear that too. So thank you for engaging with us. If you don't mind taking a couple of moments to rate and review us, we would appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here, and keep moving forward, everyone. Hey, if you're listening right now, I want you to take a deep breath. I know this is hard. Maybe your child is pulling away, saying things that sting, or seems caught in the middle of conflict, and it's leaving you feeling helpless and frustrated. You're not alone, and it's not your fault. That's exactly why I created the Countering Alienation course. It's a practical step-by-step program to help you recognize alienating behaviors, respond in a way that protects your relationship, and rebuild the trust with your child even when it feels impossible. This is not about fighting your co-parent. It's about keeping your connection strong, staying grounded, and giving your child the stability and love they need. You deserve tools and guidance that you can actually use, and your child deserves the relationship only you can give. Check out the registration link in the show notes. This is the right move. You got this.